Welcome, everybody. Imagine this. I want to take you back. So, a Salesforce consultancy. Obviously, in a really interesting high-growth industry, we've all heard of Salesforce. And this business was set up for success. It's in the right industry at the right time. They were facing double growth year on year, a highly energized executive team. Now, that might be something that many of you would have invested in back then, but maybe not. So welcome, my name is Alicia Lykos. I'm the CEO and founder of Red Wolf Group, and I help CEOs and founders lead their organizations with confidence. And I help investors invest in the right people with confidence. And we do that through a really unique approach. It's not about gut feel when you're looking at people. It's about a data-driven, scientific approach to really understand what's going on inside your business. Look at this, I had to do it. Come on, Steve. I had to put your face on a slide. It's that or you come up here, one or the other. So as you heard from Megan, I've been working with Wholesale Investor for about 3 years. And Steve has described the experience of working with me and my team as one of the best investments he has made inside of his business. And why? Because when you start to think about the people side of your business, it is the most expensive line item on your P&L. It is the most painful component of your business. When you have people pain, it is the stuff you go home and you sleep and you think about. And it's also this part that's almost unscientific. It's this mysterious component of your business that you don't have any data around. So when I met Steve, he was looking for more data. He was looking for some insights to how do I steer and navigate this business and create a high-performing team. And I want to ask you the question today. So who has caught your attention? Many of you were here yesterday, here again today, and maybe here tomorrow. And I'd like you to think about what are the type of founders that get up on stage that grab your attention? Is it the gregarious, outgoing, fast talker, fast thinker, high risk-taking individual who's just open to change and really wants to set out onto new frontiers? Sounds like Star Trek. Sorry for that reference. Or is it the very confident, bold, direct, assertive, competitive leader who is a little bit more direct and speaks what they think? Or maybe you've been really attracted to the type of founder who's really product-led. They're calm, they're patient, they're detail-orientated, and they know every aspect of their product inside and out. Maybe you've been more attracted to those type of founders. Who you're interested in is no chance. But not knowing who you're investing in, that is a mistake. I want to do something really interesting with you. So guess what? It's audience participation time. I know everyone hates audience participation, but all you have to do is get your hands out and all you have to do is clap. So you don't have to do anything scary. But I want you to think about if you're an investor and you're investing in a company, I want you to give me one clap if you have a look at a particular growth metric when you want to invest. I want to hear 2 claps if you're assessing companies based on the particular industry that they're in. And I want to hear 3 claps if you love to understand the data and the evidence behind any pitch that you hear. All right. And I want you to stomp your feet if you're looking at the people data when you invest. I got 1 over here. Good. And this is the interesting part, right? When we go and invest in a business, we are looking at the numbers. We're looking at their track record. We're looking at the data. And that's what we have to go off. But what's really interesting when we think about it is all businesses are actually fueled by people. That is actually the thing that you're investing in, and whether it's going to be successful or not. Now, for those of you who today or yesterday might have visited our booth, you might have taken the Predictive Index Behavioural Assessment. Now, to give you some context, this is one of the tools that we use within our business, and we're a certified PI partner. What is it? Many of you have taken some sort of psychometric, but where PI is really unique is it has been around for 60 years. It was founded in the US and has since then has been through 500 validity studies. It's been taken by millions of people around the world. And really, the competitive advantage here is how much investment they have received. They raised 50 million cap just 5 years ago. And that money gets invested back into the business to create what is now a category of their own. And we refer to that category of talent optimization. This is looking at data and science behind the people component of your business. Now, when you take the behavioural assessment, which you guys feel free to take over at our booth, it will then give you a really unique result that's unique to you. But what we can then do is we can place it in this wheel. Now, this is where it gets really, really interesting, because for many of you, you're already starting to think to yourself, well, where might I sit up there if I took this assessment? Would I be up in innovation and agility? So for people that sit up there, typically, they're excited by change. They're big risk takers. They think out loud. They talk out loud. And they really, really like to get everyone else on board. So they're quite influential and gregarious. They might be fast moving. Then we've got people who are in results and discipline. They're very assertive, absolutely, proactive, but definitely a bit more reserved. So really wanting to think things through before they speak. As we move over to process and precision, here's where we might start to see some of the developers, the engineers, the calm, methodical, precision, accurate. They're going to be looking at efficiencies within the business, within their role. Or as we go up to teamwork and employee experience, I like to call that customer experience. They're thinking about people. That's their motivation. How do we provide the best service possible? Now, many of you are already starting to think of not only people that you know, but maybe roles within your own business. And this is where we can use one framework to look at not only people, but roles, team formation, and we can even do a strategy assessment. We can look at where your team should sit based on your strategy. And this is how we get you a competitive edge. So I want you to think about, if you were really interested in that maverick style person who is a high risk taker, you are probably really attracted to what we call the maverick style. They love risk, they love new ideas, they think out loud, they move quickly, they love to get everyone on board as they lead out into the future. And that might sound like all upside. It's not all upside. The downside for working with a maverick is often they move so quickly they leave other people behind, right? And whilst they love talking, they're great starters, they're not great finishers. So you probably need a team behind them that is into the detail. As we move into, if maybe you're attracted to that style who is competitive, direct, bold, and assertive, you might have been attracted to what we call a venturous style. And again, great at heading and leading the charge. Where they fall down, though, is on taking everyone else on the journey. They typically think their idea is the best idea. We've all worked with those people. And so it's quite hard to change their opinion when they've decided something. So again, if we're dealing with a founder like that, we need to look at the team around them and say, well, who's challenging these ideas? Who is it? And how are they challenging the ideas? How do we know that that was the best idea? And if you are really attracted to the calm, conservative, lower risk taker, really into the detail, really into their numbers and the analytics and every side of their product, you might have been attracted to the guardian profile. So these are just 3 of the 17 profile types that we have. But you can see with every type, whilst we see all these great strengths and it's very strengths driven, we can start to see, well, when we apply it in a business context, this is really helpful. This now gives me more data to go into that conversation. Now I need to know what questions I'm going to ask. If I'm looking at this particular individual, a guardian, very conservative, low risk taker, who wants to understand all the rules and structure before they proceed, I definitely want to be talking to the founder and the team about, well, how do they take products to market really quickly when they see an opportunity? Because I know this person's going to be quite cautious. So there's an array of insight we can get from someone's profile. And then once we apply it in a business context, this is where we see value. So my lesson for you here is when you're looking at an organisation, you're looking at investing in a business, you want to understand the founder. Typically, when you go out and do these type of meetings, you want to meet the founder as well. But it's not always just that, and it's not always just the numbers. Once you start to look at the people that sit behind that founder, we can start to unlock more insight. We can start to see whether this executive team is actually well aligned to the strategy. So many of you will have heard of the concept, right person, right role. And this is a bit of a framework that we use with our clients. How do we get the right person into the right role? That's been like a universal challenge many businesses have faced, probably since the inception of business. Where we take it one step further is how do we get the right team for the right strategy? And this is a game changer for businesses. And I want to use an example for you. So I'm going to take you back to the Salesforce consultancy. I was a member of this executive team. And this was our team formation. This had our founders, our CEO, it had our CFO. And you can see that we're all up here in innovation and agility. We're all fast moving. We love big ideas. We're all excited by the future. We grew the company from 15 to 50 people over a year and a half. We faced fast growth. They acquired new clients. They were absolutely winning awards. Now, for any of you who've grown businesses yourself, you know the challenge of scaling an organisation very quickly. And the biggest thing that we faced as a challenge was actually predictable. And some of you might already be thinking through to yourself, well, what's a real blind spot here? We have no member of the executive team in any of the other quadrants, which means we're all doubling down on our strength, and that's the thing that led us to success, great, but we're actually not set up for success for the next phase of the business. At an executive meeting, we sat around the table and we looked at this. And no surprise, for 2 years, we'd been putting off anything that had to do with process, efficiency, looking at billable targets, looking at realization, looking at contracts with customers. All of the process stuff everyone thought was boring. No surprise, it was in a quadrant none of us wanted to operate in. Now, I'm not going to get rid of the executive team. We don't do that, right? Because they're well suited in their roles. But we had to then bring in new players into that team that were well suited in those quadrants. And then the executives played an executive sponsor role. But this data allowed us to work out where our blind spots were to set us up for the next phase of growth. Now, Steve has given me permission to talk about his business. And most of the staff are here today, so they'll even see some of their own names pop up. And I want you to just hear me out on this story here. So for us at WI, it's been a really important journey of focusing on individual strengths and setting the business up for success. I want to share an example with you because many of you probably like to get into the detail. This is the sales team at Wholesale Investor as of today. And you can see these purple rims. What those are is we've completed what we call a strategy assessment, and we've outlined that the strategic priorities for this group are focused on the right-hand side of the wheel. They're things around acquiring new customers, building new networks, taking ideas to market. And you can see very heavy in innovation and agility, but there's some components of results and discipline, and this is around execution and precision. What's really interesting, both our individuals in sales leadership are in our results and discipline quadrant, right? Yes, they can be proactive and drive change, but they're going to go and ask the questions. They're going to look at the CRM and actually get into the detail. And we know that's what makes great sales leaders. Now, let's flip it. Who wants to guess what this team is? This is a team that is all about people. This is our customer success team. So they're no longer on this proactive hunting focus of acquiring new business and new accounts, new opportunity, that really, really high intensity. This is now about amazing service. And we used to call this division Delight. How do we delight our customers? Well, I probably need to put people in front of our customers that actually enjoy other humans. Believe it or not, some of you here today actually don't really enjoy the company of others. And you don't need a lot of it at work. Some people come to work every day because they want to have a conversation. They want to build relationships, and they want to do that quickly. They want to serve others. They're not self-focused. So people here on the left-hand side of the wheel, they're motivated by helping and serving others. And this makes them excellent at setting up customer success. And you can see, obviously, there's some diversity here, right? And there's some flex and bend with groups, but every single decision that we make as a business comes back to the data. Data helps us make a more informed decision. What's really interesting is many companies set out and give you these great business strategies. Here's what we're going to do. Here's our market. Here's our segment. Here's our roadmap for success. And ultimately, what they're trying to do is they're trying to achieve some sort of result. They want to achieve success. Everyone wants to do that. The vehicle of a great strategy, the only way to execute on a strategy is through people. So yes, you might be assessing these companies based on a great strategy and a great plan, but if you're not looking at the people behind that strategy, you are missing out on an opportunity to really, truly understand the type of investment that you're making. So we talk a lot about the power of people within an organisation. And for many of you, it is the scary part of the business and almost let's just push that to the side, that's someone else's problem. The power of this type of insight is that it's more tangible for you to get your hands on and really start to understand what drives and motivates the people in your business. It's not just about one single thing though. So where we see this being leveraged is when you can use this data across the entire life cycle of a business. When you can use it from how do we write the most appealing job ad on the planet so we're targeting a very specific market. And again, Chris from Remote Staff and his team, they leverage PI when they go out and recruit their workforce for you, right? Because they understand the power of data and science in attracting the right people, getting the right people in those right roles for you. And then we start to think about, well, how do I manage this person? Because managing people, for all of you who manage people, it sucks. Managing people sucks. It is the hardest job ever because every single person that you're managing is different. They all need something different from you. You can't just turn up the same every day in every conversation. Whilst we can have our real underlying core values and ethics, the way that we show up in service to the people around us and how we unlock potential in people is by understanding what drives and motivates them. How do I tailor this conversation? Am I going to go out and talk about your goals and ask you questions about how you're going to get there? Or am I going to make sure you're really well prepared for any meeting we have because you need the rules and structure? Having this type of insight allows me to manage people better. It allows Steve and countless other CEOs and leaders and managers all around the country that we work with to manage their people better. We know when you're working with scaling businesses, the key thing that you've got to do is retain your talent. And I hate the word retention because it kind of implies that we've got to hold people captive. We talk a lot about how do we attract but inspire. If I can inspire people to turn up to work and do their best work, your world just gets a whole lot easier. It's not about trying to retain people and hold them captive. It's about how do we inspire people. And the best way to inspire people is to understand them and understand those levers that you can pull when you try and motivate them. So I'd encourage all of you that are here today and or online to take your behavioural assessment. If you visit us on Umbrella or you visit out on our booth, you'll be able to take it yourself. It only takes 5 minutes, so it's unlike many other tools that take 45 minutes or an hour to complete. And it's going to give you a really highly accurate insight into you and your workplace-related behaviours. And then we can talk further about you and your business and how you would leverage this inside your business based on your circumstances. So thank you, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed the session. Please come and visit us at our booth.